Hi friends, welcome to Rita's Paper Motif. I have a lovely kit that I want to share with you today, but before we do, I want to introduce myself. I'm Rita. I like to create a card design, scrapbook pages, and 3D projects. I like to share them with you in the hopes that you'll create and share with those that matter to you. Now, I do want to begin with what we talk about today. I am going to give you some measurements and just share these cards with you. But I also wanted to let you know that you can always find tutorials and so much more by going to thepapermotif.com. And while we're here, I just wanted to say that you can follow me on Facebook, or you can follow me here on YouTube. And please, while you're here, if you would subscribe to my channel and hit that thumbs up button, that would be lovely. Now let's get started because I have a lot I want to share with you. So I did start a new event. It's called Let's Kit Together. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to take the second Thursday of the month and I want to devote that Thursday to a new kit. And so what I want to do with the kit is I want to feature that kit here on my channel, and I want to show you some alternative cards and projects that I make with that kit, just to give you some ideas of how you can extend your kits. Now, let's talk about the kit. So while we have the kit that we're going to be sharing today, I did just want to tell you that kits have a very good place in our paper crafting world. They offer great projects. They could be card stamping projects. It could be non-stamping card projects. It could be decor, and it could be 3D projects. Now, these kits are found in our online store. It's best to go to the online store because we get new kits all the time. So it is difficult. Well, it would be kind of impossible to keep current in a physical catalog. But if you go to the online store, you can see all the new kits. And if there's some that you missed that you want to try, then you would also be able to do that. Now, the kit that I wanted to share with you today is called the Butterfly Garden Kit. It's a lovely kit. I'm going to open it. Now, I've already opened it and started on the cards, obviously, or we'd be here forever. But I just want to tell you that the Butterfly Garden Kit is perfect for sending encouragement to friends and loved ones. And this kit is all-inclusive, which means it contains all of the supplies that you would need to create these 3 card designs. Now you may say, why would I want a kit? Well, maybe you're just starting out paper crafting. Maybe you don't have a lot of supplies. And this is a great way for this particular kit that if you had only the supplies that came in the box, you could make 9 cards, 3 of this design, 3 of this design, and 3 of this design. You get the envelopes, you get whatever you need to make them. They're beautiful cards, and so that would be a good way to start out if you don't have a lot of product. Maybe you have a little bit of product and you just want to complete 9 cards easily and without a lot of planning, and so that these are perfect for that too. Maybe you travel a lot, and so this little box is easy to pack in your luggage, and then you could craft on the go. Or maybe you want to get together with your friends and have a little project and craft as a group, and these are perfect because everything you need is in this little box. And then maybe sometimes you want something in a hurry. So even our very avid paper crafters, maybe they just want to change. So there's a whole lot of reasons why you might want to try kits. Now here's what I wanted to tell you. I did say that everything that you needed to create these cards. So the cards that you could create in the butterfly garden kit, everything, all your supplies are in here. But you know what I like to do is I like to take the cards, and I usually like to make 3 as the instructions intend. So let me just show you those instructions. It doesn't matter what language you speak, because the instructions are illustrated, and so you can definitely see how to create those cards and how to use the pieces that are in the box. You can see them through the pictures. So also, it tells you on the back what pieces you're going to have, and so you know that you have all the contents in there. It also will even tell you the coordinating colors. So if you're like me and you wanted to add maybe product from your craft space to these cards to create alternate cards, you can do that too. And I like to do that. Not always. Sometimes I just want to create what's intended, and you know, maybe I just need to send just a few cards out that month, and this is a good way to do that and to have something beautiful and wonderful. And they're usually appropriate for the season, or maybe for if there's a holiday coming up or something like that. So these are great for that too. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you 3 of the cards that I made that are exactly as the are as per directions. And then I'm going to show you some alternate cards that I made, bringing in other items from my craft room. But before I do that, I want to show you what's in the kit. Now, remember I told you that I already opened the kit, so I did do that so that I can make my alternative cards. But what you'll find in the kit, and this is all wrapped up in plastic, so it's all together. What you'll find is you'll find 9 card bases and 9 envelopes. They're 3 different colors, 3 different designs. So you'll definitely find that, and I've taken those all out. You'll also find adhesive. So let's see, I think I just, and this is what backs it up. So I always save this because this is great to craft on if you're on the go or something. Then, you know, you want to like do 2nd generation stamping, or you need just that buffer between the hard surface and your stamping. This is good for that. So I just kind of put it there. As you can see, I'm in my office today. It's been a crazy morning, and so I'm just going to do my video here. So this is not set up as if I were going to be stamping normally. So I'm just going to keep that here. You'll also get a little acrylic block, so I'm going to take that out and show you. Anytime there's a stamping project, of course we can't assume that you already have an acrylic block, so they will send you an acrylic block. Now I wanted to show and compare this block with the blocks that you might find in my online store. Sorry, here I have it's a little crowded. Here we go. So this is the block that you get in your kit, and you can save these. They'll come each time, and they're a perfect size for almost any stamp. And here are the blocks that that I sell in my store. So you could see the difference. This is a little thicker, and it's easy. For me, it's easier to stamp because I have a place to grip, or maybe I've just gotten used to this. So I don't quite have that much width here. But these are great, and I do keep them. I'll use my acrylic blocks, but I'll keep this because this is great for a little gift to maybe my customers, or to, you know, if I'm doing a little gift bag. And you'll also get these little dots for embellishment, so I'm going to keep these out. Now I'm going to bring from my craft room, I'm going to bring this container. So I just put that container right here. I got it on, I think, Amazon. And so I'm just going to put some of my stuff in there so that it doesn't get lost. This I'll just remove because I'm going to use that probably as a gift. All right, let's see what else is in the box. So also in the box, you'll find an ink spot, and this one happens to be Misty Moonlight, which is one of the coordinating colors as listed right here. So I'm going to put that right there because we're going to use that today. Now, a lot of times in the kits, I'll save these. and use my bigger ink pad, but for today we're going to use this one. These are also great to collect because you get every color that, you know, whatever color coordinates with the kit, but you can start saving up your little ink spots and use them. They're 1x1s, and you can also order them in the catalog, but it's a good way to start collecting your ink. So I'm just going to put it on the side. Then also you'll get your stamp set. If it's a stamping, if the kit requires stamping, then you'll get your stamp set. Now these are usually come just like this, but at the bottom of, so these usually come, I'm just going to show you, these usually come like this, and they're wrapped in cellophane. Everything else is on the top, so you can just take them from the bottom. I like to fold this because it gives you a picture of what your stamp set is, so the sentiments and also the images in that stamp set. So then I just slip this stamp set into here just like that, and then I'll put it in one of these Avery L sleeves so that they're all together. I do save these, so for all my past paper pumpkins and kits, I save these because I never know when I'm stamping. Maybe I want this "Thanks for being you" stamp in a card, and so I can just go to my stamp sets and find the Butterfly Garden stamp set and then use that sentiment. Or maybe I want that butterfly. So it's just nice to have these. It's a good way to start saving up and increasing your inventory of stamps. And they're photopolymer, so it's the same thickness, same kind of stamp that you would get in a regular stamp set. All right, so let's move on. We'll put that to the side. Now you do get, like I said, all the ephemera that you would need. Now I've already used some of these, so bear with me. We are going to make some cards that need this. So before we do that though, here are your dimensionals. So this is going to be your adhesive. So if I have a package of dimensionals I've already started, I will pull these first and save these. But they're exactly the same as these, just maybe a smaller set. But you can see they don't skimp on them. So this is really nice. So I'm going to just go ahead and use these for today. And then you'll see that there are the sentiment strips. So we see these. So we know that we're going to be using these on a card. And you can see, if you look at the directions, the card that we're going to be using that one for is the card that has like soft green and then some florals. So that's going to be that. So I'm just going to put those, punch all of those out and put them in my container so I can get rid of all of this. Here's another sentiment strip, and this sentiment strip would be the one that we would be using for this card. So I'm just going to put that in there too. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this and get that done. And then we start in with some ephemera that we get. So this isn't this butterfly beautiful? So we have this butterfly, and then you get, actually you get, let's see, because I've already used some of these up, you get 3 sheets of each, I believe. So here's another sheet of these that hasn't been punched out, and then look at these beautiful butterflies here. So we'll just go ahead and punch them all out. Now before I punch this out, these are intended to be stamped, so we'll need our stamp set. Let's just go ahead and do it so we have them, because then when we're creating, we don't need to stop and do that. So we have the bigger butterfly and the smaller butterfly, and let's just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to take my acrylic block. I'm going to go ahead and stick this stamp on here. And we have all sizes, so, you know, whatever size we need, we can do that. Now, let me see. I think I will, for time's sake, no, I think I can do them all. So I'm going to try and be very careful with this. I'm going to I want to stamp over this, and I want to line it up. So here we go. So it's a little off, but that's okay. Maybe I won't do all of them because I'm not sure that we're going to use all of them. This is really hard when you have the camera. Whoa, look at that one's pretty good. All right, let's just go ahead and take these out. I'm not going to stamp all of them, but we also need to stamp some of these little ones. So I'm going to remove this stamp. I'm going to get another stamp block, acrylic block, and I'm going to do the smaller ones. And we're using that Misty Moonlight ink. I don't know, I mean, you probably realize that. But let's go ahead, and because the ink spot is so small, I just go from ink to stamp. And now we're going to stamp these little ones. I think I need 2 little ones. Okay. Whoa. Okay, one more, and then we're going to move on. So I have my stamping out of the way. And then I'm going to leave these on the sheet because they're easier to stamp. So for future purpose, it'd be easier to just leave these on there. And so then I'm going to just kind of move things out of the way here. And then we're going to look at some of the cards that I've already created, just as the directions say. And so let's just bring those out right now, and I'll just move some of this so you can see. All right, so here we go. This is one card that is created, and that you can see that that's this card right here. So look at the beautiful blooms. And there's that thanks. So that thanks is part of that stamp set right here. Remember, right here. And so that's on that sentiment strip that they already gave us. Now, remember they gave us the white ink, the white little dots. I didn't use those. I pulled some from my stash just for this one because these are retired and I wanted to use them and they match perfectly. So I just did. I didn't put anything on the inside because I'm going to tell you what I want to do with this in just a little bit. But here's that card as per directions. And then we like to stamp or decorate our envelope. This is the envelope that is supposed to go with this card, and you can see that right here. And so I stamped on the bottom, and I just did get some paper that I don't care if it gets ink on, and then I inked so that some of the butterfly is coming off, and then I would ink fresh ink, and then the second generation ink without re-inking the stamp, and then inking the stamp, and then using it before I re-inked it. And so that gave me that card. And so then these cards fit nicely in the envelope. So there's that one. Now, if you were doing all the cards just like the kit says, you would have 3 of these. And then here is the other card that I made using those butterflies. Remember, we just stamped some, or I just stamped some. So that's where you get these. And then some of these are a little off. I think when they were cut, maybe the machine that cuts them got a little off. So you might have to take your scissors and kind of like trim them a little bit. But here's that card. And so this uses the sentiment, I'm always here for you. And this is beautiful. This is Misty Moonlight, and then I love that white. I was trying to figure out how to put some vellum in here, but these can definitely use some of those white dots. So let's go ahead and put some on there. So I will use my take a pick tool, and let's just put some on here. So it looks like you have large and then you have small white dots. I call them white dots. They have adhesive on the back, so you don't need to worry about any adhesive on there. All right, so there are our white dots are on there. And then here is the envelope. Now, if you look at the directions, they tell you to stamp the envelope right there, and that's what I did, using the bigger and the smaller butterfly. So there's card number 2. And then here is the third card, and this is the card that uses the this is Flirty Flamingo, I believe, with the Misty Moonlight, and it already comes this way, and they're 2 sizes, so the larger and then the smaller, and that's what's used on this card. Now, I did use some sequins that came from my stash, but you definitely have plenty of these white dots to use on all your cards as directed. And then this has the sentiment sending you strength, and it goes in this pink envelope. Now, as per directions, it says to stamp the envelope with the bigger butterfly. And so obviously when you fold this to mail it, it's going to be the right side, right? So there's that card. Now, I told you that I am going to do something with these cards, and I am. So the reason I didn't stamp the inside is I'm going to want to give them as a gift. So one of the alternatives that I did was I made a container that these cards can fit in. And so I'm not going to give you the directions for the card today, because this is something that I will give you as a free tutorial when you sign up for my newsletter. So if you want to sign up for my newsletter that goes out once or twice a week, then just in the comment section, just let me know and I'll contact you, or you can definitely contact me and we'll get you signed up for my newsletter. So there's that. If you're watching on Facebook, you can always text me and I'll get you signed up. And then you can just grab the tutorial for free. So this is made out of Misty Moonlight cardstock and one of the card fronts. And then these little stars are some of the embellishments that came with that suite. It was called Peace. It was a Christmas. It was for Christmas, and so that's what Peace on Earth is what it was called. So I just used some of these on there because I had them. So that's what I'm going to put my cards in. And this was leftover ribbon that I've had in my stash. And then I'm going to give these cards as a gift. All right, let's move on because I made a lot more cards. So I want to show you the cards that I've already made, and then we'll make some cards together. So let's see here. Here's one of the cards. Let's see, I'm pulling apart here. Here's one of the cards that I made. And that is using that this card part here, and I just cut off the front part of the card. So let me see, let me grab my, so this card has a nice back to it, nice thick card. And what I did is I just cut one of the card bases just right in half where that line is. And then I made sure that the measurements for the back part were 4 by 5 1/4, and I used that part as a layer, and then with the part that had the flowers on it, I just cut the flowers out, and then I just attached them with the dimensionals. Before I attached them to the dimensionals, I also used some beautiful ribbon. It's called the gold striped ribbon. It is still available. It is on the last chance list. Sorry, I've dropped some of my stuff here. It's on the last chance list. So if you want it, I would head on over and get it. But you can see this beautiful ribbon. And so I just kind of looped it underneath, and then I used the dimensionals to put it on my card. And then you can see these little butterflies. So these are the brushed brass butterflies, and they are also on the last chance list. So I did want to say that the first person to comment in the comment section below, all you have to do is put brass butterflies. So the first one to do that, I'm going to send these to you. So I'll have to know how to contact you, or you can contact me. And then I'll get these to you. So I do have a couple that I've already used on the cards, but you're more than welcome to these. And also you can get them on the last chance list. So I did go ahead and I stamped on the back here instead of here on the corner. But, and I just used a regular strip, and this measures 1 inch by 3 inches. And I used the garden green ink to stamp "Thanks for Being You," and that's from the stamp set. And so there's that. I did put a layer of garden green as the first layer, and that measures 4 by 5 and a fourth. Oh, so I'm sorry. So the green is 4 by 5 and a quarter, and then this soft green is 3 3/4 by 5. So I told you the wrong measurements. But if you go to thepapermotif.com, you'll get the correct measurements there. So then that is the next card. So I'm just going to put it in the envelope because we're going to put them all in the box in the end. So then I have another card, and here are the measurements for that. And this card is using the yellow card with the yellow flowers. And so this is what it looks like in the card kit, right? I already made one of those just as per the directions. So I just decided to change it up a little. And what I did is I used some of those brushed butterflies. And then I thought, I just want some sparkly on here. So I looked through my stash so you can see it. I hope you can see it glittering. So I had, these have been retired for a really long time. These are a sequence that we had a long time ago, and I don't even know why I get them, because you know what? I forget to make shaker cards. So I thought there's some really nice little clear sequence in there. So I dug them out and used them on here. And then I used some of those brass butterflies. Then I have a retired stamp and die set. It's called Brilliant Butterflies, and it came with like a bigger die, and then the different little butterflies. And so then I die cut a butterfly in the basic white, and then I took some gold foil and I cut the intricate part of I used the intricate die to cut that out of foil and put it on top of that white, basic white. And so then I have that butterfly, and I wanted it to look like it was in flight. And then this sentiment strip right here, I dug up one of my paper pumpkin add-ons. So when you get your paper pumpkin, for every 3 months you have an add-on die set that you can get, and that's what this one is right here. So I just die cut that out of white. What I like about it is you can see like the little stitching, and then also the word hugs. That is also part of that's this die backwards. So I did that out of garden green, and then I just put this up on dimensionals. And then of course I used my white twine. I just made a double bow, and put it on here. And so that's how I made this card. So I really didn't alter the card base. I just altered the front of the card. And I did not stamp the envelope. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to stamp it with a butterfly. I'm going to look for maybe a little floral stamp that I can put like on the edge of the envelope. So there's that alternative as well. And again, here are those brushed butterflies that I used that are on the last chance list. All right, so I did want to share this card with you. This is, I call it a window card. So I didn't put any acetate right there, but what I did do is I took a circle from my Spotlight of Nature dies, so I just kind of throw them in here. But I took this die right here, and I placed it on the front of the card and ran it through my die cutting machine, and then this would be the part that came out. Then I closed my card and I put that circle just like that, so I knew it was right where it needed to be, so you can line it up with the flowers. And I adhered it down, and now you have a little pocket. And then these are the butterflies that were intended to go with this card. And so they're beautiful right on there. I tried looking at some other butterflies, but I don't know, because if I'd already seen this combination, if I just liked it. But these really worked the best for me. And then I used those white dots. And I stamped on the back of the envelope. So there is that as well. Okay. So what I wanted to do now is I wanted to create with you another couple of cards. So let's go ahead and start with this card. This is an alternate card. Let me get a little situated here. So let's see. This card, I didn't really give the card a name, but we're going to be using this envelope, and I'm just using a basic white card base. So this is 8.5, and I cut it at 5.5, so it was originally 11 inches, and then I just scored it at 4.25. This is going to be our card base. And so I'm going to take my bone folder and really burnish down that fold line, and then we're going to move it to this side. I'll just put those instructions right up here. And then what I did was I took a piece of brushed gold, and that's going to be the bottom layer. Now, I do want to tell you that normally I will, if I have a die cut that I need to die cut something, I'll cut in the middle. I did it with this because I didn't have anything specifically I needed to cut out of the gold, because I already had some scraps, and so the cutting that I did need, I just used up those strips and scraps. So we're just going to use it as this way, and then we're going to build our layers. So this happens to measure 4 by 5 1/4, and then I have some DSP, or some designer series paper, that comes from the Lovely and Beautiful designer series paper, and that is going to layer right on here like this. So let's go ahead and do that. I am going to use my multi-purpose glue, and that's because of this gold paper. Because it is strong, I want to make sure, and this has a little bit of texture to it, I want to make sure that it stays adhered. So we're just going to go ahead and this might be a little bit plugged. Sometimes it gets that way. There we go. This is the multi-purpose liquid glue, and a little bit goes a long way. And I can tell you I know that for sure, because I've made the mistake of using a little bit too much and just not a great idea. And so I will just take my bone folder and secure that down. And then this is also another piece of that designer series paper, the Lovely and Beautiful. And this happens to measure 3 3/4 by 5, and that's going to lay right here on here. So let's go ahead and put that on there as well. And I just love, love, love this paper. And so let's go ahead and put it. I am going to want this to be a landscape card. So I'm going to have the flowers going in the correct direction. So let's see here. Whoa, that was off, wasn't it? That is really off. Let's see. That's the beauty of the liquid glue, is that you have a chance to manipulate it if you need to. Now let's go ahead and put this on our card base. And this also is why I'm using the liquid glue. You could also use tear and tape if you have it. You could also use those dimensionals. However, remember those dimensionals that they sent in the kit were sent to make the cards in the kit. So I think you would have a lot of dimension if you used them here. So because I wanted to use an alternative, I wanted to make an alternative design, I am using my liquid glue. All right, but you don't have to make these alternative designs. Now I wanted to share something with you. Let me see here. I'm just going to dump these out right here. Kind of messy, I know. I wanted to think about how I wanted to use the butterflies. So I cut butterflies out of different things. So here's some little gold ones. I thought about that. Originally what I thought I would do is take this very intricate part of the butterfly and then, well, I'm not picking this up, am I? And then just gluing it on here and then gluing it on here, but somehow it becomes too much for me. So I didn't like that idea. I did like this idea though. What do you think? That's what I thought I would do. I didn't really care for the white. They somehow get lost. And then this kind of didn't make sense at all, even though it is the Misty Moonlight on the petal pink. So what I decided to use were these, and then we're going to stamp, and I have 3 of them. I'm just going to use these. We'll see if we want to use all 3 of them. We may not want to. And this is what we're going to stamp on. So I was thinking, what do I want to stamp on here? And so I decided I wanted to stamp the sentiment that says thank you. Or I actually thought I'm always here for you, or sending you strength. So any one of those will work. Let's stamp the thanks stamp. And so I am going to use, let's see, I'm going to use this block, and then we'll take the thanks stamp, and then the ink I am going to use, I actually want to use Garden Green because there isn't any Misty Moonlight in here in this card. So let's just use, you could use Fresh Freesia, but Fresh Freesia is not very dark, and yeah, let's just use this. Sorry, I hope I was in camera range there. I'm going to stamp this off just to make sure, yep, I have enough ink. And so we're just going to stamp it on this circle. So there we go with that. And I am going to use dimensionals to put that on my on my card. I'm going to put it right there. And so let's use those dimensionals. I do want to say that I use probably more dimensionals than necessary, and I know that. But I want to make sure in my own mind that when my cards go through that machine at the Postal Service, that they're not going to come out all wonky in the end. So understand that when you see me use dimensionals, it's probably okay if you don't use as many as I do. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that, I want to put it in this lower part right here. So I'm just going to put it just like that. Hopefully I put it straight. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to put these butterflies on there too. So I want the wings to kind of bend up, and then I'm just going to use my reverse tweezers because I just want a little bit of ink right here. Glue, sorry, not ink. Glue. So just a little bit. And I do want one of those butterflies right there on the sentiment. And then another couple throughout the card. Let's see here. And these are out of fresh freesia. You see some fresh freesia in the card. And they also are, I feel like they're kind of delicate because this designer series paper is has a lot of movement. That's why I think the other choices that I made or had to make or could make didn't quite fit for me. And so I'm just going to go ahead and I don't know where I want to put this. Maybe we don't want, yes we do. I'm going to put it right here. And now I still feel like I'd like a bling or something on it. And so, you know, I want to think, and I think, what do I want on there? So this is obviously garden green, petal pink, and then the yellow is crushed curry, and this is flirty flamingo. And so I'm thinking, what do I want? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and use those white dots that came in the kit. And we'll just put those on there. I'm going to use, we also have some little butterflies that we could use that are in gold. But I think I have put enough butterflies on there for today. So I'm going to forego that. And we'll just put some white dots. These look good. And you're not stuck to just putting 3, so that's also something to remember, is that you can put on however many you want, but I like to put odd numbers, so I'm going to put another big one somewhere here. Let's see, maybe here. And then I'll put another small one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put another small one right there. So now we have our card. It's an alternate card. And then we're going to want to stamp our envelope. And so, you know, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking, what do I want to stamp on here? Misty Moonlight is not anything in our card. So I thought about that, and I thought, well, you know, we can do a couple of things. We could always stamp in a different color. Nothing says that we have to stamp our butterfly in Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to go ahead and use the garden green. to stamp my envelope, and I am going to stamp it on the back. So we know that we want our butterfly to go just right there. So I'm not sure I've ever seen a green butterfly, but I don't know that I've seen a misty moonlight either. So, all right, so there we go with that. So there's our alternate card. Now I have another one that I wanted to do with you. And this card, I'm calling it, this is kind of like a fun fold. So let me take all of these out of here. And then we'll talk about the parts. And when I'm doing my projects, I like to put them in those old DVD cases. Our stamp sets used to come in those. So they make for nice storage things. Okay, so here's what I wanted to tell you. I took the front of this card. So this was the back and this is the front. And I also cut this part. So this part, actually here, this is what I call the front flap. And this measures 3 by 3 1/4 by 5. And then I scored it at 1 inch right here. So this is going to be the flap. We need to do some surgery though before we do that. And then this you could put on the back if you want, right? It could be the back of your card, but I am not going to, oh, this could be the back. You could put this on the back of your card. So if this is not an open card, and so if you needed a place for a message, you could definitely adhere that on the back. We can do that a little bit later. Before we do that though, this part right here is going to be adhered right here, and I have some marks right there because that's given me an idea for what we're going to do next. So let's start where we need to. I'm going to bring out my trimmer. So let me grab that. Let me put all of these little pieces away because I have a lot of stuff going on here. Let's see, I don't want to lose these. Now, I had a call today from a family member, and I just kind of feel like I'm a little dysfunctional right now. All right, so what we want to do is we want to cut this part. We want to cut it so that 1 inch on each side, right? So this part right here measures 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So that's what I made these little marks for, is because they should be about 1 inch, and they are. So we're going to go ahead and cut this 1 inch on each side. Let's see here. So here's the inch mark. We want to get it straight. So we're going to go ahead and cut it. We're going to flip it around and we're going to cut this side. You don't have to flip it, you could move it, but just for me it's easier on video to do it this way. Okay, and so another inch. So now we have 3 pieces. Now I want to tell you, it sounds kind of crazy. You're probably going, what is she doing? Well, for those, the designer series paper that has like a scene or a continual pattern, this is a great little card because you're going to piece it together on here. And I am going to leave these marks up. We're going to go ahead and erase them when we start adhering down. But I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on the back here. I hope I don't have you all confused. I don't do this fun fold very often because it really is kind of geared only for those cards that have a continual scene going. So let's see here. Like we had that designer series paper that had landscapes and stuff. That would be pretty. Or anything that has big bold patterns like this. So this is, and I messed up. I definitely messed up. Before we glue this down, we're going to take that piece right here and we're going to put it right in here between those lines. Let's see. It's kind of hard to do when your adhesive is already... Gosh, read it. I wish I hadn't done this. Okay. There we go. So now you have your flap that's going to fold down like this, right? And then we're going to put these pieces right here. This is going to go in the middle, and then this on this side. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere them. I'm going to erase that though, because I don't want those pencil marks to show. And that's what I like about these mechanical pencils, is the eraser really works well. On some pencils, when you go to erase, it leaves like a nasty little mark. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this down. I have glue on my fingers here. Let's see. So I'm going to close this. I want a little bit of a margin, but not much. There's that. Let's glue this other end down. This is fairly forgiving because even if you, you know, it looks like this might be a little bit, I don't know, this inch is a little bigger than this inch, but it's pretty forgiving because once this goes down on the front here, it's forgiving. You've got that shadow anyway there, or that margin right there. So before we do that though, let's go ahead and we're going to stamp whatever sentiment we would put here. Well, you have a choice. You could either put a sentiment on top of this. You definitely can do that. Or you can put your sentiment in here. I'm going to leave this because I'm not going to put anything on the back, although you could. You could put that white piece right back here and put your message on it. I would put my message in here. So I am going to put a sentiment strip on here. Let's go ahead and I just decided that in case you couldn't tell. So this goes right here. Make sure you get it right side up. I almost put it wrong side. Well, it has to match this. So sometimes these are hard to tell if they're right side up or not. Okay. All right, and then we have all kinds of options as far as what we want to put on here. But if we look at this card right here, it has that big white butterfly, and I think that that would look perfect on here, just like that. But so let's do that. This is not quite straight. I hope I can fix it. Maybe. There we go. Well, I didn't get it straight again, did I? Sorry, I have to, this not being straight will drive me nuts. There we go. Okay, so let's see, we're going to put a dimensional just on this side right here. And then I'm going to put a sentiment. Let's see what sentiment they use here. It's this one that says thanks. Because I don't want it sticking too much, I am just going to put it right like there. And I am going to put, let's see if thanks will fit. No, it won't fit on that. We have to use the other one. Well, we can put it right there. All right. And I don't want to use that garden green. I want to use the Misty Moonlight. So I need to wash off my stamp. So I'm really having fun doing these alternate cards. I hope that I'm giving you ideas. And if you have your butterfly garden kit, I did put out an announcement that we'd be doing this. It's also on my calendar. If you go to the website under events, you'll see it on the calendar. So we're going to be doing this every second Tuesday. And I'll let you know what kit we're using, so you could kit right along with me. That's kind of what I'm hoping will happen as we get into this. This was the first kit together, so I'm a little rusty, but one thing I do know about those of us that craft is that we're very forgiving. So I am just going to go ahead and, because this already has dimension in the flap, I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down. My glue doesn't usually sit up this long, so okay, let's see here. We're just going to put it right here. Right like that. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on here. I'm going to get rid of this so it's not in our way. Let's see. The other thing we could do is we could put some little white butterflies if we wanted to. So those are kind of cute. I just really think this butterfly is the best for this card though. So, you know, they gave us all this ephemera, so let's use that up too. So I kind of want it like that. So let's see how much. So right about here maybe. And we don't want anything on here because when this lifts up, we don't want this, we don't want any adhesive sticking it down. So let's just do that. So there we go. We have what I call the flap card. You could put your message inside. It's going to go in this green envelope. Let's go ahead and stamp this envelope with, let's do that bigger butterfly on here. And let's do, hope I'm not getting ink all over me. Let's do the Misty Moonlight. Okay, let's see. I didn't get that wing totally because my stamp is a little off. You know what else is a really nice thing to stamp your ink? Is the stamp positioner. So I don't know if you've heard about that. I showed it the other day on my video, and I'll be using it again, so I'm sure you'll see it. So we could put it on here, or we can put it back here. I think what I'd like to do is I want to go ahead and put it on this side. I'll stamp once, and then I want to use that little butterfly. I just decided this. Can you tell? It just came to me. And we'll just put that butterfly right here. Okay. So then our card can go, I think we should put some of those white dots on here. Let's do that. Now, usually with my take a pick tool, I use this side to do the dots. Oh, it does still have some. So this is putty that comes out of the end here, and I need to get a refill. So, but they're so nice because you can just see some of them it picks up and some of them it doesn't, but you can just use them. So anyway, so there we go with that card. And let's see here. We have one, do we have another card? I thought I had another card I wanted to do with you. I do. Oh no, I already did it. Wow, we went through those cards quickly. Yep, I do have one more card. All right, so let's put that with this. You know, I think I'm going to turn off my phone before I do the next video because I just get kind of out of whack. All right, so this, I just call this the flap card 2. And this is using that blue card base. And I just cut it in half. And so when you cut it in half, it's not, it's going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But if you're going to put that on a card base, and I have a white card base I want to put it on, this measures a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So if you want it to look layered, then you're going to need to cut this down. And so this is, the front part here is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, even though this is a 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. This part is going to be 4 by 5 1/4, and so that will give you a margin all the way around, right? So that's what we're going to do there. Now, this other part of the card, I want it to be in here, and I'll show you why in just a minute. And then I'm going to put, you can't write, well, you could write on that. It's light enough that you could write your message, but I'm just going to put a white layer on there. So let's go ahead and start our card. So this is a 1 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 1, and we're going to go ahead and fold this. This is going to be our sentiment, and it's going to fit in here, which is why, whoops. So if we glue that right here, so it would look like that, right? So when we glue it right there, we don't want to leave that part ugly in here where you can see the flap. So let's go ahead and glue it, and we'll work from there. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little adhesive. Now I saw this card, who did it? Susan Stampfield did it on her channel. So I want to put it even with the end right to there. Let's see, is that even? It's hard to tell with the, because I'm so far away. Let's see, and I want it to be flush though. I don't want it to stick out over the edge. So there we go with that. Now that's secure, but when you open your card, you don't want to see that, right? So let's go ahead and put that, these layers in there. And that will cover up, pretty much cover up that flap. And then this will go right on top here, right like that. And so if you're going to put a message on the inside, you definitely could do that. Or you could just write your message, whatever is your intention. Sorry, I want to get this straight here. Okay, so now you see that this would go over just like that, right? We're going to stamp on here. And what I wanted to stamp was, there is a beautiful stamp set. It's called Lovely Arrangements. And I wanted to use this Sending Smiles stamp right here. So let's go ahead and use that. For our sentiment, we'll stamp it right there. We're going to stamp it in Misty Moonlight. Let's see here. I am looking, oh, okay. Got kind of scared that maybe I tossed that other part there. All right. So let's go ahead and stamp this in Misty Moonlight. You'll say, oh, your stamp looks a little pink, and it does because I've used that stamp a lot, and when you use it with any color that has a red pigment in it, it is going to turn a little pink, but it's good. It just means it's well loved. All right, so I'm going to, I think I'm going to close it. No, I'm not. We're going to do it this way. So this is a little tricky. And because I'm stamping on white, you don't want any of this residue ink. So let's just remove it. Okay. There we go, Sending Smiles. Now we're going to take that card front that I had cut apart, and we're going to put that right on here. And so let's do that. And I want to tell you, for this card, I was really thinking about what I wanted to do with this. I did take some vellum, and I did cut it. Let's see if I can get this straight. Now you could definitely use those dimensionals here that are in the kit if you wanted to. That would be fine. And so this is going to sit like this. We want to make sure it's straight there. So then we're just going to go ahead and put a butterfly right on here. So let's do that quickly. I just got notice that my battery is wanting to leave me. So let's put this right here. And this is vellum that I cut out of that same intricate die. And then I just glued it onto the white. So there you go. There's that little flap, and we'll use our white dots to decorate our card. Whoop, that might not work with that. There we go. And I am going to secure this down so it stays down. All right, so there is our card. It's going to go in this envelope, and we have another alternative. So quickly, I'm going to bring all of those out that we just made so that you can just kind of review them. And then I wanted to invite you back to the next kit together. And then we can make some more cards. And I also wanted to just feature this card kit. So I hope you enjoyed today. I'm going to have to fix this so it stays down. So hope you enjoyed today. Hope I gave you some ideas even for the fun folds. And I want to invite you back. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And of course, your likes and shares are always welcomed. So thank you so very much. I'm going to fold all of these cards and put them in this box. And they'll fit nicely right inside here. And then I'm going to give them as a gift to my friend. So thank you so much. And have a great weekend. And we'll see you again next week. Bye.